ladies and gentlemen of the board. I'm here I'd like to give you a brief history of the project and sort of define the final target of where we are going and what the current status of that is. This actually began in 2017, is when this project was initially discussed and proposed and talked about. It started out with a look at the overall athletic facilities at the high school and also for Alleghany County Public Schools as a whole, so middle school and high school. The original plan, the idea was looking at everything completely, renovating all the fields, bringing us to a regional and state competition level. For instance, as it relates to the track, we were looking at an 8-lane versus a 6-lane track, which would allow us to host events and other tournaments and so forth that we can't do with a 6-lane track. So it would make us a focal point for regional and other schools to come in, and we would be the host. So we looked at that in its entirety, and over time it evolved. It evolved into a separate weight room project. It evolved into several other little projects along the way. And the track project got split out. So in 2018-2019, we received a study, which I can provide if you haven't gotten copies of this, from Spectrum Design. And what we looked at here was, we have two tracks. We have CMS track in middle school, we have the track in high school. We have two different facilities. Each one has their own challenges. And the study was a comparison of, okay, let's look at both facilities and what would it take to make this school a competition track facility, and what would it take to make this school a competition track facility. And if whatever one we made a competition track facility, the other one would be recreational practice grade. So we had two alternatives for each school. And so after a lot of consideration, a lot of study, and a very thorough analysis, it was determined, we decided that we would keep the track at the high school, take it from 6 to 8 if we can, upgrade the bleachers, upgrade the field, make it football, soccer compatible, go to an 8-lane track, improve the concession stands, improve the ticket booth, the fencing, the perimeter, and upgrade the drainage and some other little deficiencies that were along the way. And that's the proposal that is in process now. And where we are with that is there's one item that the field work has been complete. There was a final survey that the architects needed to be completed that gave them the proper grading for the field. They have completed the work for the updates for the concession stand, the upgrades for the field. What we'd like to do on the track is bid it out as an 8-lane with an option for a 6-lane. There was discussion at the time early on that we didn't think we could fit an 8-lane. If we do, we're going to take out a couple rows of bleachers. That's a decision we just have to make when we see the cost and see whether or not it's technically feasible. And so the last piece was the survey. It's complete. It's in the hands of the surveyors. The architects are pushing to get that from the surveyors, and so they can get the final proposal back to us, and then we can decide what we want to do and push the button. So, rather long-winded, but it's, you have in your packet the basic scope of what the track project will be. I had put in there an update. 6-lane is currently the only option. That was inaccurate, I've learned. So 8-lane is still on the table. So we still have the option to become a regional competitive site, should we so desire.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just curious, Jack, you may have an answer to this. So are we going to be doing like hosting track events in the merged school system at Alleghany, or are we going to do it at Covington? Because I thought we were going to do at least majority of the sports at Covington.
So the plan is to host baseball and football games at Casey Field. The Covington track is just a little bit too short. The Clifton Middle School is a mile too long. Alleghany is the only track that is the proper length, but it is obviously in the worst condition of all of them. I've been a part of these conversations back when we were originally talking about it. I've spoken with Mr. Bartley quite a bit about this. Creating an 8-lane track is a huge expense because you have to redo all the bleachers and all of that stuff and add on to it and build things way out. Mr. Bartley thought that a 6-lane would be great. That's what we currently have right now is a 6-lane. Hosting regional events is great, but we don't want to go bankrupt to hold a regional event. We just want to win the regional event. So, I think that a 6-lane could be great. But what we really need is a track that our kids can participate on and, that they can practice on. And, Alleghany is going to be the high school, so, it would be great for the kids just to be able to walk out there. We've talked about the idea of using middle school track, but that's still a transportation issue. And, there's a lot involved with that. The way I kind of pictured it, I imagined that Alleghany would be the track and the soccer stadium. Although I know both of those are spring sports, I think that soccer in our region has increased in popularity quite a bit, and it would be nice for those athletes to have their own kind of stadium. It's always kind of weird if you play soccer on a football field or baseball on a football field or whatever it is, but soccer is one of those things that we don't really have a stadium for, so our stadium could double for both of those. So
one thing, do we need, so if we're doing baseball and football at Covington in the future, do we need the baseball and the football? Well, football's already kind of there in the middle of the track. Do we need the baseball? Can we relocate the entire track and rebuild a whole new one?
Like I said, we don't go back.
It looks like we're already trying to build a new one. Is there?
No, this would be.
Well, one thing you would always want, ideally, is a game field and a practice field. The advantage is at the high school, we could have, the baseball practice field and game field, Casey Field. We could even have a football practice field at the high school and a game field at Casey Field. And so that's the advantage of keeping all the fields there. You can practice longer if you don't have to travel. So there's just a lot of advantages to keeping those. The maintenance is not that great as far as the difference in keeping up one field versus two at that level. So we can keep the softball and the baseball fields, keep them separate. But that's how you have a nice game field, is if you have a practice field. That way you're not tearing it up every day, just practicing.
And also giving a field a season to rest between events.
I'm just thinking, if we're going to try to build a soccer/track stadium, and we can use whatever perimeter or area that we have available, we should go for the goal here and just make it really nice and put it wherever it's going to be optimal, and then around it put your practice areas.
I don't think there's a question of where it should be. I think it's in a great place right now. It just needs some upgrades. It just needs some love. And there's no reason to build a whole new house if you just need, kitchen remodel. It's, this $570,000, that is for a 6-lane?
That's for that was a 6-lane, that was the original estimate.
And do you know what the estimate was for the 8-lane?
I do not.
The problem with 8-lane, if you can picture walking around the track to Alleghany, it falls off, there are ditches, there are low spots, right, not, on the left side, just leaving the concession stand before you get to the bleachers. You're also just taking out a couple rows of the bleachers, recreating a whole new access points to the bleachers and things like that. It was a huge amount of money difference to go from 6 to 8.
When was the last time the track was, I guess, updated or redone?
After the flood of '85.
Took that long
About
ago?
serious, that's about when it was last done.
Yeah, I think it's the part time about due.
It's a little overdue.
And I guess without hearing from the different contractors as far as the bids, we don't know how long it would take from ground break to finish the project?
I don't have that information yet. That will come with an estimate with their final proposal as soon as they finish with the survey.
It's just been since '85, I think we're due for something.
Yeah, and you know, if Covington's going to supply athletic facilities for several of those sports, it'd be nice if we had some nice ones in the county as well. You know, it would be nice to.
And I agree, and I think I prefer, you know, let's do the 8 and post, and if we have an opportunity to put it in there and we need to make it feasible, then let's do it.
I mean, we have the option, and the way it's set up, we'll look at both. When the final bids come in, we will see both numbers, and I think that probably.
It's just a lot. But they've already done the architectural work for the 6th and the 8th, right?
They are waiting on the survey part of that. Yes. But they've done everything they can up to a point.
And that piece of literature that you have there has a price for a 6 and an 8.
This one does not. This is just one versus the other, taking what we have and taking it from a recreational level to a competition level. So these are 6 lanes.
I'm a big fan of 6 lanes. When our track coach says 6 lanes is good enough for him, it's good enough for me. If we're going to host regional competitions, we're probably only going to get to host them once every 10 years or so anyways. Is that correct?
I also believe you can host with a 6-lane track at regionals, just not state.
Right.
Well, we'd rather travel to Boston Wednesday there, so.
Are there any grants available?
There could be a possibility there could be some CARES funding available for this with the outdoor side of things.
That I would have to check into.
Yeah, because maybe the 2 extra lanes for distancing.
Questionable. In any project like that, the state's now requesting that the school divisions run by the state for their approval of that it's appropriate for CARES use. So that'd be minimum to do that.
Well, it's something that we do need to move along on. We've had money set aside for this in our capital improvement plan to make these improvements. The longer we wait, the less our students get to use our track.
Well, now that the decision's been made about consolidation, a lot of questions have been answered, and we can move forward.
Right.
And so,
That's what it looks like the construction materials is going to go up even more, so.
Yeah.
We can't have running.
yeah, you talk to the person who's in the middle of doing a remodel in his house, and he's suffering.
But and one of the things about it is that we do have to be careful of our timing because of our fall football season and our spring sports season.
That's what I just kind of want to know about time length.
So
And that'd be the challenge with this project is, we don't have, you mentioned resting, we don't have an opportunity for our fields to rest. We have January, February, and we have June, July. Those are the only 2 months that those fields are not in use. With this project, we would probably have to make some alternative plans to use CMS for games, CMS temporarily for other things, for the work to be done timely and quickly. So it's something to consider.
Can I propose an idea? Can we maybe do a survey with the sports athletic coaches and just get their feedback on whether or not they want an 8 or a 6 lane?
We have done that. We have had that discussion.
Can you share the results at some point?
He's okay with the 6, and we're getting the price option on an 8.
Now, what about, did you ask other coaches and get their feedback? That's what I'm asking.
It's been a collective project over years of meetings and talking and discussing.
So recently, we've asked coaches, is that what we're saying, or we're not saying?
Yeah, and then my whole time on the board, we've been talking
if
about
you read on this thing, there was a meeting you know, back when Mr. Ross was a principal, back,
December of 2019.
yeah.
Even before then.
Yeah, even before that.
Even
I mean,
before then.
Yeah, I just.
That was like 3 superintendents ago.
Is that now, sir?
Yeah, but that was a short period of time, you
That's
know,
the end of the year.
maybe like 6 months.
But, you know, this is something that we've talked about it, and we had a pandemic, and, you know,
Something I don't want to delay anymore.
I don't need
I don't think
that.
anybody.
We just need to get it
And I
done.
think we need
The
to
students deserve it, we need to do it.
move forward with this as quickly as possible. You know, we've definitely considered it, thought about it.
We talked and talked and talked about it, we need to do it.
Yeah, we have the money for it, we just need to make it happen. So what is our next step, Mr. Truett? We're waiting on surveyors, I saw them out there
Waiting on
today.
surveyors. I mean, I'm hoping that's a matter of days.
Yeah, because they were out there the day that the cross-country team gave the trophies to the high school survey. Can we get an update on that?
I can send out a letter as soon as I hear.
If you would, that would be great.
Yes.
I know Abby would like to close out her school board career with
She can say, I got this done for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would like to see that as soon as possible. And, you know, I was in the architecture business, dealt with a lot of requests for proposals. I don't like the idea of saying we're going to ask for an 8-lane and then a 6-lane could be a project. We need to, we need to find out either a price on both, or we need to,
Well, that's what this is. It's a price on both. There's a price with an 8-lane and a price with a 6-lane.
all right. So if we can get those,
That work?
an estimate, so that, yeah, so if we can get those as soon as possible, if you don't mind sending something out, so we can hopefully make some sort of decisions at our June meeting, that would be great.
I will do that. The architects had planned to be here. Unfortunately, he's on the board of supervisors or the town council in Trouttville, so he had a conflict. He sends his apologies, but they're as anxious to get this done as we are. It's been a long one.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we could have something that we could really take a hard look at our June meeting, that would be fantastic. All right, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Truett regarding the track?